All right. How are you guys? My name is Ben.
This is Andrew.
And before we get too far into it, I just want to stress one little point. If you would like to support us, if you're going to watch the reaction, if you could have if you don't plan on watching the discussion, if you just have it played in the background, to get that view time up, that will greatly support us. So, but other than that, go ahead and we're watching season 1, episode 12. Go ahead and recap of the last episode.
So last episode, we got to find out the reason Suika wears that watermelon on her head with the eye holes is that it actually helps her eyesight. She said that she has fuzziness. So she has like the fuzzy disease,
the fuzzy sickness.
Yeah, fuzzy sickness. And then Senku was like, yeah, it helps you when you wear that because, tight holes, less to see, so it's easier on your eyes. He goes, but it's not a sickness or a disease you have, it's just you just have bad eyesight. You're nearsighted, is what he was like, And us trying to create glass will help you, see. So we're gonna try to create some glass and help you see.
Yeah.
So he ends up making 2 lenses for her. They pop them in the watermelon holes, and she sees just fine. And like you said, he like it's an ongoing pattern in the show. He kind of like when he finds a thing that he wants to make, does like a little small project with it in the beginning to then amplify what he wants to actually do with the thing. So like he wanted to build a whole laboratory with the glass, but he found that her eyesight needed to be fixed. So that was kind of like his test with the glass to make the 2 little lenses to help her see.
But even the little test is greatly beneficial, whether it be for because how does making eyeglasses for Suika actually progress you along a scientifical like path of victory? It kind of doesn't. Like,
well, I think
what I'm saying is like if you hand me a pair of glasses, do we win the war?
Oh, not necessarily, no.
No, right? But if we make a laboratory in which we can use stuff, will that win us the war? That has far more, right? But doing that can have the effect of like a morale boost almost.
Yeah.
So that is something also very important.
It could though, because so technically, let's just say theoretically, let's say Kinro, right, who also we find out in this episode has bad eyesight. Let's just say he was Tsukasa level, skill level, right? Just put it out there. But he had bad eyesight. What if the man had some glasses? You know what I'm saying? Now you got somebody who's equal level with Tsukasa and he can see now. So now you know what I'm saying? Obviously he's not. I'm just using as an example. But you know what I'm saying? So, glasses could be a big part of success. You know what I'm saying? You never know. Any step forward is a good,
but it's an indirect thing. That's what I'm saying.
I see what you're saying.
It's not a direct victory. It's an indirect victory.
Yeah, it wasn't his main goal with it, and that wasn't what. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Like putting glasses on Kinro isn't going to make him hit harder.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, exactly.
It may make him
more accurate.
It might. Obviously, it'll give him vision. It will affect it.
Yeah.
Right. But it's not. It's not the same as giving him a gun.
Yeah.
Like if you give him a pair of glasses versus a gun. Obviously he would need glasses to shoot the gun, but swinging a sword with bad eyesight or shooting a gun with bad eyesight, you're blurry either way, depending on how close he. Apparently he can't see the tip of his spear.
Yeah. Makes sense. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
That's what I was saying. It's an indirect victory. So even with like the ramen, right? Feeding people. Giving people, they already had food. Giving them a different kind of food isn't going to make them better, right? Yeah. But it was good food that made them want the food. So it gave him leverage to get them to work.
Yeah, exactly.
So
makes sense.
That's it. It's a value system almost. So
yeah,
it does. Giving Suika glasses is a huge bonus, but it's not like. Black and white speaking, it's not what is going to win them the war. She might, because of her eyesight, she might be morale boosted. In the last episode, she was getting all sorts of extra pots, and they're like, "Wow, like you're doing really well." Yeah, I'm feeling great. Like this is perfect, and all this other. So it's like a morale boost. So she's working better, more efficiently. So it could down the line be better.
Yeah.
right? It could stack up, and they increased her production quality.
Yeah.
But so it's a long term benefit rather than a immediate benefit, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. That makes sense. But yeah. So we actually in the same episode we do find out that Kinru also had the fuzzy sickness, quote unquote they call it. So and
Bad eyesight.
he bad eyesight. Yeah. He's nearsighted. And we actually got to see a glimpse of that before we even found out because he wasn't trying to keep range on Kuhako and training. He kept trying to bring the fight to her and like make it close quarters type thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then she was like, "You're not going to be Magma trying to charge him and get close range with him. You have to keep your range with him because of his size and everything else. You gotta,
It was more like he was using a spear.
Yeah. He's using a spear,
And
so
that's a long range weapon. Like you're not gonna take a sword and try to swing from really far away. Like you're gonna get up close. Like if you're using
exactly.
a spear, you have range. Like use that.
Yeah,
like that's what
use
it's
the
for.
range.
So
Yeah, exactly. So that was how we saw a little hint, that little guess or a little hint toward to us that he had bad eyesight.
yeah,
So then we also get to meet what's the old grandpa's name? Can
I don't remember actually.
it's something Kinska or something.
I'll look it up. I'll look it up. But
I'm gonna call him Grandpa for now because they call him Grandpa something. His name, Grandpa's name. So the Grandpa guy came in. He was a craftsman for 50 years, I believe it was stated. For 50 years of his life, he's been a craftsman with his hands. Just a straight. I can make crap out of my hands. Like a beast. And so Senku and Chrome were having problems with making the glass vases or the things for the science for the lab, and they needed someone with steady hands and who was really good with craftsmanship. And they're like, "Yo, let's bring him in here and see if he can help us." And then Senku knew that seeing them mess up, it was going to drive him nuts because he was like, "Dude, I could do this so much better." And then boom, next thing you know, he breaks out of his freaking thing they had him held in. Dude's a ripped old man. And he's just sitting there. He starts spinning away on the glass and making perfect little vases or little things and everything for it. So yeah, they end up building the lab with him. So we got the lab.
I may have the pronunciation wrong, but it's Kaseki, I believe.
Kaseki. Okay.
So Kaseki. Kaseki.
Kaseki. Okay.
So if it's phonetic, then it's Kaseki, but I'm sure that they'll pronounce it.
Yeah. So Grandpa Kaseki. He ended up helping them, and then they ended up making a whole laboratory with him. So they got the whole laboratory, and then we ended with Kenro and Genro come in saying, "Hey, can you make the tips of our swords or our spears shiny with gold and silver?" And what's his name? Senku was saying, "Well, how about this? I'm going to send you guys to go get the most important scientific material like ever, or something like that." And he goes, "But it also may cost you your life," is what he said, I believe.
I was like, how badly do you want this silver spear?
Yeah. So
he said he was going to go with the silver spear, not the gold one.
Yeah, the silver spear. So he ended up so that's how he ended. So we don't know what but I don't know what the quote unquote most important scientific material is that could get them killed trying to get it is. So
yeah.
Guess I'll find out.
All right. Go ahead and head to the description for the reaction. All right. So, sulfuric acid. Yes. Enough to the point where if you simply inhaled it the slightest bit, you would just die.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, the guy went to tie his shoes and he died. Because it's denser than normal air. Yeah. So it sits lower. So that's why when they went down to go get the sulfuric acid, it was gathered. It was sitting because it was in like a little like a bowl almost. I don't know what you'd call that.
Yeah.
But that's why it was settling there. It didn't have. Yeah. It wasn't able to disperse and like it was supposed to. So.
Yeah, that makes sense. But that's cool. That's cool. I like how he made the silver spear, and I like how that was like a detect, like to detect when it was strong and at like head level and stuff. That was really cool.
Because yeah, apparently silver reacts to the sulfuric acid fumes, whatever is created from it. So,
God, this dude is smart, bro. Like he's smart.
yeah.
Like that's crazy, man. Dude, they make gas mask, bro. They made freaking gas mask out of like the basic like nature crap. Like that's insane.
I mean, but they've also been gathering a bunch of stuff and creating all sorts of things.
That's true.
So I mean, they have like glass. Like that's not a natural thing.
Yeah. But I'm just saying. It's technically natural, but you know.
Oh yeah, it all came from it.
Yeah. But like, I'm just saying though, you know what I mean? Like, dude, from scratch though, then getting those materials and then making a gas mask, bro. That's awesome. That's so cool. It's so basic, but it's so cool at the same time.
And there is a counter philosophy that Senku has, which is just good for his character that I really, really love. Because in this episode, like they went and they had like he was like, I'm gonna go, you're gonna stay back. And because if this fails, right, which I don't think it will, but if it does, then you need to be able to go forward. Yeah. But if you were thinking full logical, you would have sent Chrome rather than Senku.
Yeah.
Right. But Senku has the best knowledge on how it would work, so he would know the best path to take. But putting his life in danger is not the most logical thing to do. So,
I mean, yeah.
So keeping, because he can trial and error if he so chose. Like he has villagers. If the most like illogical, heartless thing you could do is just send them in there one at a time until it eventually works, right?
I see what you're saying.
But like, so if you're speaking pure logical, and then that would be the play, is to just send Chrome rather than him. But he is a person. Not only did he find the way for all three of him, Taiju, and Yuzu to survive, right? Which was his philosophy, is him finding the way for everyone to survive.
Yep.
But because he was okay with sacrificing himself there because he can come back. But now you have this situation where he could die and not come back, and he was okay with it.
Yeah.
So it's not smart to send both of your scientists to death, to potential death, because the next smartest person would be like Suika.
Yeah.
Like, because I mean, Kohaku's there, but I don't think she understands any of it, and Suika has probably been paying attention a lot, I would imagine. So
I mean, he did make the statement earlier in the show that science will always prevail because there'll always be that idiot who comes across it, pretty much.
Yeah, eventually.
Eventually, like, you know, Chrome took a bunch of rocks, different types of rocks, and was hitting them together, making certain, you know, combustions and stuff. So
yeah, and then if someone else is like, "Wow, what are you doing? That's interesting," and then they take it, they're like, "Well, what if I did this?" And the other person's like, "Oh, I didn't think about that." And boom, you have human creativity. Yep. You have humanity at its finest when it's just making stuff.
Yep.
It's like, what are you making? We're just making stuff. That's it. We don't really know.
I mean, I guess, I mean, I get that it was more logical for him to send in Chrome, because that's what I was thinking too. Is like, well, I don't need to send Chrome in first, and if he dies, then you go in. But he knows that. So if the gas mask does work, he'd be the better gatherer of knowing how to handle it.
True.
And, you know, So
I think it also has a big morality, like a humanity to him. I think I think that, because I would call that a flaw.
Yeah,
right? I would say that would be a flaw. I mean, it's a good flaw to have. But in terms of full on logical thinking and exactly how it would work, it's not the smartest play. So having this humanity flaw is definitely really, really good for him.
Shout out to our other show that we watch, Ruby. Like because he's logical. Like he speaks how logical he is, but he's not to the extent of Ironwood logical, where he'll take out anyone. Yeah, spoiler, by the way. Yes, he's not logical to the point where he'll just do anything and do anything. Like, it doesn't matter if he's got to kill whoever, he'll do it, or if he's got to sacrifice whatever, he'll do it.
So, I mean, true. I would also say it's a bit of a different situation.
It's a
because
situation.
it's
but,
not the end of the world like it is in
Yeah.
Ruby. It is
Yeah.
simply an incorrect world being created.
Yeah. But
Or maybe not even an incorrect world. His perspective of an incorrect world being created.
I would imagine that. Well, then again, it's different positions, different times, and all that stuff. But I mean,
I get your point though. I get what you're saying though.
His logical thinking is not to the point where he's just going to make sure it's all about him and everything else. And yeah, he has, like you said, he has morals. Like at the end of the day, he is still moral driven. It seems like I'm not just going to mindlessly have people killed for my science.
Yeah, and it could be a very ego-driven thing too, where where like when you have characters that are super smart, they're usually very egotistic because they know everything, or maybe not everything, but they know everything about what they know. So he's very egotistical also because he's like, not only am I going to catch us up, but we're gonna pass. So I'm gonna do what everyone in my world could never do, and I'm gonna pretty much not like shame them, but I'm gonna surpass them so fast that it looks kind of pitiful. Like that's how hard I'm gonna do it, and which isn't necessarily a bad thing, right? Yeah. That's just what great minds do. They try to be the greatest mind. Yeah. So
I mean, to be fair though, he kind of already had the knowledge of the future, what it was.
Oh, he had a huge
advantage. Yeah, like all those people that he brought up, like Thomas Edison, for instance, like he had to like come up with that theory on his own and like on the fly. Like he already knew the theory and everything that he came up with, and he was able to implement that into what they have. And
he's not. I mean, so it's actually I can give you a perfect example. Like I taught you how to do solve a Rubik's cube. Right.
I just talked about this the other day with someone too.
Like you're not a genius because you can solve a Rubik's cube. If you figured out the method to solving it, you created your own and you perfected it, then I would probably classify you as maybe not a genius, but at least someone smart enough to figure out the reasoning, because a lot of people don't know that it's not just spinning and getting aside and everything just magically lines up. Like there's a method. Like I'm not super smart because I can solve one. I mean, I have enough patience that I can watch a YouTube video and learn how to do it.
It's kind of like the movie. So I don't know how true the statement is. So someone's probably correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. There's a movie called The Pursuit of Happiness. Okay, and it's about.
I've heard of it. I've never seen it. So
it has Will Smith in it. And he's homeless, but it's with his son. Him and his son are homeless, but he's known to be like ridiculously smart. So I don't know who it is, if it's like a wealthy guy, a scientist, or he's both, like a wealthy scientist guy, or just a super smart. I don't know what it is. So they pull him into this like a limo, right? This guy, like random rich guy, pulls him into a limo, and he goes, "Hey, solve this." And he's like he's never seen one in his life, right? He's like, I think it's the first time he's ever actually held one and looked at one, like discombobulated a Rubik's Cube. Yeah. And he legit looked at it, spun it around. And now this sounds long for us because, you're really fast and I think my fastest solve is like 40 seconds. Yeah. But he did it by first time ever seeing one and mixed up. He solved it in 4 minutes. And that was the first time he ever seen one. And he didn't know the patterns, the algorithms. Yeah. He just looked at it and was like, started, messing with it, kind of like figuring it out. In 4 minutes, he solved it.
Yeah.
And dude was like, "Have you ever seen one before?" And I think, and he was like, "I never seen one of those. I don't know what it was." And he solved it in 4 minutes.
Yeah. Which I think that's very Hollywood.
Very Hollywood.
I don't think if you gave it to the smartest person, like I don't think that they would just be able to just figure it out, because there's 43 quintillion possible I don't remember situations, but
this is based on a true story though. Like that was apparently a real person. So I don't know if that story was actually true or not. But if it was true,
I mean, if it's true, that's for him to be handed something that he's never even seen, and for him to be able to solve a Rubik's Cube within 4 minutes, that would be very incredible. But I think that's very Hollywood.
I think it was 5 minutes. 5 minutes, if I was correct.
Well, even if it's an hour, if you told me anybody. If I gave someone a cube and I said, "Hey, bring this, like, don't cheat, bring this back to me in 1 month," I don't think they'd be able to do it.
Yeah,
and even if I took someone stupid smart and gave them the same thing, I don't think they'd be able to do it.
Someone.
I mean, someone eventually did, right?
Yeah, I
Eventually
imagine
did,
someone
but
someone in the comments probably correct me and let me know. Let us know if that was a true part, like if that actually is based off the guy, like that was actually what he did or not. But I don't know. I was putting that as an example of like patterns and stuff like that. But yeah, pretty cool. Um, but yeah, like those are he had all the, like you just said, kind of like how you told me the Rubik's cube, that
yeah,
he has all the patterns and the algorithms and
yeah, he has the algorithms memorized. Yeah.
yes, yeah. So he doesn't have to go through those steps. He just has to execute the steps.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
So, which is why I was saying, like, he's not necessarily intelligent in terms of like like an insane IQ. I think he has it also.
yeah,
I think he is that, but these don't prove it. These aren't feats of intelligence, right? These are feats of capability. If
studying, almost, I would say.
yeah, which is it's his intelligence that brought him to that point, because he was so hungry for it.
Which is science. That's, I mean,
Yeah,
if we're being
yeah,
honest,
yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah.
I'm not degrading him. It's him, but him being able to, create a light bulb, that's super cool. But that's because he did all the research and stuff to do it. He didn't create a light bulb. He recreated a light bulb, if you would.
I see what you're saying.
So he's using someone else's method. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, he's going to be super smart. He is a super smart character. He probably is genius level. Yeah. But this does not represent that. It's a different side of IQ. I'm saying. So a lot of people, when they think that, oh, he's like super smart, they think that they're over there, creating all these theories, and they're creating things that have never been done before ever. So it's like, oh my gosh, like he created a teleporter. Like if someone was able to create a teleporter, they'd be classified as a genius, because it hasn't been done yet, right? But the second guy to make a teleporter using the first guy's theories, and he makes a better teleporter, I would say the first guy is still probably smarter, right? Just on that alone, even though that could be a complete fallacy.
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying. I would agree with that. I mean, that's like if you give me a how do I put that? Well, I guess you could use that example. Just like he took the algorithm and the patterns that the dude used to make the first time machine, and he just tweaked. He looked at the algorithm and the thing and was like, I bet you though, if I took this and moved it here, or if I added this there, that it would make it better. And he did, and it made it better. So it was like all you really did was add an extra step to what the guy already had on there. So
I would say instead of adding a step, it's more like altering the steps.
Yeah, altering
which could be adding or subtracting or just swapping, or you're altering the what it was. Yeah.
But you would have never did that in the first place if that guy never had the steps in the first place to give you that idea, or
Yeah, I mean you can't claim that you created it if someone else created it. So
yeah, exactly. Makes sense.
So like I'm like, I think who is stupid smart. Like, I mean, his capabilities are incredible. Yeah. Right. But that's not the side that is showing when he's creating a gas mask. Yep. Right. He's just diving into his, bank of knowledge.
Yeah.
So, which he needs to be super smart in order to, it does show the other side of the intelligence, the IQ, because he was able to learn all of this. But
yeah, exactly. I'm gonna be 100%. I'm gonna be honest. I don't remember half the stuff I learned in school.
But you also weren't passionate about it.
Yeah, I was I was not passionate about it.
I mean, if I asked you about stats in like Apex, you would probably be able to be like, yeah, like this gun does this so much damage, and this it takes this. Like that's something you're passionate about. Like, so you learn more stuff about it, but you don't need. I don't need that information to gun someone down. I just need to know. A and B, while you're going to put a bunch of numbers in there for you, which will help you. So
yeah, makes sense.
But so they acquired sulfuric acid, the hardest thing on the list of everything they need.
So he's making it seem like now everything's gonna be cake compared to what they just did. So
yes, this was the hardest part, and I think the hardest part was because of the potential death.
Yeah, of course.
So
Has to be
that's
right.
that's what I would say. So
Yeah,
it may not be the most difficult part, but it is the like in terms of
risk
physical
factor.
capabilities. But
Yeah.
this risk factor was like, yeah, you could instantly die, which the hardest part of that would be the negative side. Like, so say someone like Kohaku died,
Yeah.
who would train Ginro and Kinro to fight, who would do all these crazy physical aspects that Kohaku's able to do,
Yeah.
right? So what if someone like Suika died, right? Her ability of gathering information and collecting different materials, that would be gone, right? Someone like someone like Chrome dying,
Yeah.
right? That is the second most intelligent man we know right now.
Yeah.
And maybe, but then take it all the way to the top. Senku dying, obviously the man who created, who showed a guy that he wasn't sorcery, that it was who was changing flames.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, this is my highest level. I'm making flames pink. He's like, dude, that's like a basic test. Like,
yeah.
but he converted him from what he thought to be sorcery to science, and he's like, oh, okay.
Yep.
So, and he's even changed the mindset of like Kohaku. So like, that's why it would be the hardest thing to do, because it would the negative result would impact the entire experiment.
Yeah.
So it may not be the like physical most enduring thing that they have to do, but it was the one with like, if this goes wrong, it's gonna just destroy everything that we know, and we're gonna it's gonna make everything 10 billion times harder, using his words.
Yeah. Facts.
So that's where we are. So that's the instant death just by breathing the fumes. So, but that was the most important part. So but we also had a Kohaku moment.
Well, we did have Kohaku, right?
So Kohaku was told that your sister's dying, so you need to become the priestess because you're healthy. So she was like, no, I'm not going to do that. Like, because if I become the priestess, then she has no reason to fight. And a lot of people will survive, like cancer and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
Because they have a drive. They're fighting. Their body doesn't give up.
Yeah.
So she has to pass them on without fail. So if she's the only one who knows, then and so she can't give up.
Yeah.
So that's why she's fighting for so long.
Yeah.
So like Kohaku's like, I'm just gonna make Dad hate me. So I'd rather my father hate me than
she said pick an option to where my sister's going to die. Like we're literally planning on her dying. Like that's the plan. Like that shouldn't be. Like imagine being like I couldn't even imagine like planning on my kid dying. Like that's awful. Like that's just so bad. Like oh my god.
Well, it's not necessarily that they're planning that they're dying. It's
but
they're
like,
dying. There's not really like
he sees it as like there's nothing I can do about it. So let's plan ahead of it. Obviously, when it happens, it's gonna suck. But like we know it's gonna happen, type thing.
Yeah, it's one of those things in life that you can't really control. Like it's like
he's logic thinking. At that point he's logic thinking. Like
he's like there's really like you're dying. Like I don't have no one we have knows how to fix this. So I mean they didn't know that Senku was coming.
Yeah. So right now they're not even accepting Senku because they sorcerer magic and crap. They think he's
just an outsider. They don't accept outsiders because that one time that they said that one guy. So and then they banished him. So or whatever.
Dude,
so
Magma gave Gin the hands. Goodness gracious.
So, but I thought that was a really cool character moment between Kohaku and Chrome.
Chrome, yeah.
So Chrome also said the same thing, pretty much, but it was a cool parallel between the two characters. Yeah. So, and then she made the joke of like, hey, like if we succeed, Kinro or Ginro are probably going to end up wedding Ruri. So I was like, would you settle for me instead? Obviously not actually meaning it, but it was a cool test of kind of like a. Not really a test, more like a solidification of their drive and all of that. which I really appreciated that. The little moments like these are kind of what I'm paying attention to, because I'm creating my own story almost. So very early in the works, but I'm watching these moments because these are the moments that I remember and I want to add into my own stuff. So so supporting characters are very, very important. Probably I would honestly say more important than the main character.
Yeah.
So
they are sometimes, yeah. So people watch movies just for the side characters.
True. But she's like offering herself. And then it was like
he was like, Rory's the lady. Like, and I like how he didn't move at all, but he just had knots on his head. And he was just like, yeah, exactly. See, gorilla.
And then when they got it. But we also had a moment with Ginro.
Yeah, he's like, he faces fear. He got over fear.
And it was Kaseki who talked him out of it.
Yep, Kaseki.
So, I mean, obviously he wasn't going, but he was like, "Oh no, I accidentally made another one. Oh no, what am I going to do?"
Yeah, it's funny. Good old timing. He accidentally makes a gas mask. My man accidentally breaks a rock under his foot, almost falls into the sulfuric acid. And Genro just so happens to get there in time. Just solid, timing.
I forgot we also had a pretty important character moment for Senku. So very, very important, because he was like, I'm not as ballsy as you, but he's like shaking.
Yeah.
So very important. I think this is a huge moment for Senku in terms of character development, because he is showing that he is terrified. But like to a point where he can't even shake, but he's like, but I know I have to like control my breathing, because even though I may be scared of dying, me being scared of dying will cause me to die. So like I have to.
It's kind of like they say when you come across any like wild animals, or like what's the trying to think of one that's like a great white, actually I think is one they say, like if you're ever like if you see a great white, they're like keep calm, sit still, and try not to cause attention because to yourself type thing. Mm-hmm. And that's another thing too with gas masks, because I know it's in general, but like I remember watching a movie too where it was like I immediately thought of like this like shark movie I saw where like they had these gas tanks on and they were stuck in the bottom of the ocean, and they were like, she was like, you can't freak out, because if you freak out you're gonna lose all your oxygen and you're just gonna die. Yeah. So you have to calm down because you're just gonna die.
But it's also like if they were breathing too like I'm sure you've had like a snorkel or something on your face before, at least sometime in your lifetime, right?
Yeah, I have.
If you breathe out too hard, your gas will like the air will leave your the air will push the mask off your face ever so slightly.
Yeah.
Which will cause air to go in, which means, considering they're in that chemical area, that's what they're breathing. So it's like, I mean, that's why he was like, you have to control your breathing, because if you breathe too fast, you get rid of your oxygen, but you can also breathe too hard and press the
mask off your face.
You can give the slightest bit of room, and that was it. Even the smallest error could kill you right there.
Yeah. So I mean, it's good. It's all right to shake there. I mean, he's controlling himself. He has to. I mean, he knows that, like you just said, the slightest thing could end it all. So I mean, shows that he's still got emotions. He's not this unmatchable being that is not human or something.
But yeah, we even had a Ginro moment. He's like, I'll overcome my fear with my head and my heart. Yeah, because Mother Nature is just a thing. It's just a constant. That's what they were saying. So like humans have a brain, they have a heart. It's like this is what we have to beat Mother Nature. So because we're constant, but we also have intelligence and we have a heart. So it's like
it's how we were able to outlive animals.
That's how we're able to beat. That's what makes us more. So there's a reason why we're on top of the food chain.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like we don't have claws or fangs or anything or hard armor or anything. We just have
brains.
We just have our brain, and that's why we can put lions in cages.
Yeah. It's No one. I don't think anyone in real life can realistically punch a lion in the forehead and kill it in one shot like Sukasa. No one. We
Uh,
can't be a Sukasa.
I
Maybe.
mean, it's just
Maybe.
bone.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, he had. That has to
If
be
you were
an
able to
exact
land,
hit.
if you were able to land a punch, I think anyone with like enough muscle power and enough like if they twisted their hand and centralized that damage, then they would be
Yeah.
able to cause they could kill it. I mean,
That's true. I mean, you see all these-
I think obviously the lion would probably just dodge and just like whack him once and just die. But if they were able to
Yeah.
land, if they were able to land a hit,
Yeah.
then many people could probably. I mean, put any MMA fighter against a lion and
Yeah.
give him a free shot. That lion's dead.
Yeah. I see
Like-
what you're saying.
But being able to obviously animate it up and be faster than a lion, you know,
Yeah.
that's the
Well,
Tsukasa
well,
effect, if you would.
yeah. But yeah, that's why. But Brains, I like how it's like clearly Brains is going to be, at least what we're seeing. It seems like Brains is a superior way, and which it is. You know, so I always tell you that's why humans are top of the food chain because we got brains, bro. We big braining out here
Exactly.
until
All right.
the gorillas take over and monkeys, and then we're screwed. No, I'm
Oh,
just kidding.
true. Was it Planet of the Apes?
Planet of the Apes, yeah.
Yeah, well, wasn't that an experiment done by humans? So therefore,
It
the
was.
humans won because it was their own experiment that killed them.
Because what happened was, they tested it on one monkey, and then the monkey outsmarted the humans by grabbing the serums like out of the like his scientist like fridge and stuff, I guess.
Yeah.
And he just spread it upon all the monkeys, so they all were smart. And yeah, I mean, they have the fangs and the
Yeah.
muscles and everything. So yeah.
Yeah. So, but all right. So we're going to move on. Right. If you guys would like to support us, liking, commenting, subscribing, as well as checking out any of our other content, will really help out. You can also check links in the description for, I mean, past the obviously the reaction, but the Twitches. If you want to further support us, check out the Patreon. And other than that, we will see you all in the next one.
Deuces.